You know you should be investing in the stock market, maybe the bond market as well, but what else should you be investing in for long-term financial success? I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Are you investing in all the right things in your life? I was recently challenged by one of my co-hosts for the Wise Money Talk Show that airs right here on this channel every Saturday morning, Joshua Gregory, who issued a challenge to all of us team members at Korhorn Financial Group, and I took it personal as well, and I'll tell you in just a second, to ensure that you're investing in the most important things in your life. We all know, I mean, this channel is about finances and financial planning, and oftentimes people define financial planning, financial success, by balance. Balance, investing for the future, right? Saving up for the future, but also having great experiences today. We all know that we should be investing in the S&P 500. We should be investing in large, mid, small U.S. and international stocks, and maybe some bonds as well, or bond alternatives you should be investing in. But it's not just financial instruments that you need to be investing in order to have balance, in order to have that enduring, yes, financial success, but certainly life success. See, Josh's challenge comes at a time that I just finished reading a fantastic book by Arthur Brooks called From Strength to Strength. This is the Harvard professor on happiness, and I can't say that without smiling a little bit. It's a fantastic book about how you achieve happiness, and he makes it a formula. It's math, which resonates with me, but also how you continue to go from strength to strength as you age and so on. And talks about how happiness really comes from enjoyment, satisfaction, in meaning, okay, and meaning. And he also says, by the way, satisfaction is really wanting what you have. It's your haves, what do you have, what do you possess, divided by what you want. And so many of us, especially, we're talking finances, talking financial planning, really just have a lot of wants, and we want to strive, we want to reach that satisfaction by driving up those haves and continuing to strive for more wants. In fact, he says, no, listen, satisfaction and one of the roots of happiness is really about just wanting what you have and being more satisfied and content in that way. I also recently read the former Surgeon General, Dr. Murthy's essay that he issued at the beginning of 2025, his last prescription for America, where he talks about how we need community. We're built to have community, and technology is actually, and society is actually kind of moving further away from that, but we need community, and what are the ingredients of that? Is relationships and service and purpose. And so all of that's just sort of spinning in my head, and I'm processing and again trying to think, okay, well, how does wise financial stewardship and financial strategies fit with just having you be able to live the life that you're called to and find happiness and community there. And again, okay, I'll go back to Josh's challenge. He issued the challenge of, are you investing in the right things? Okay, are you investing in the right things? So with that kind of bigger picture, I would encourage you to not make the mistake that I've been called out on before, and maybe you have as well. And that is, I've tended to prioritize saving into accounts and investing in the future at the detriment of investing in today. And some emotional conversations with my spouse early on in our marriage and later on in our marriage, where it's very easy and natural for me to save up for the future and not as easy and natural for me to invest in our lives today. You need both. If you're going to be honest about how you define financial success, it's likely going to be some equation of balance, okay? Where if you only invest and save up for the future, you're not going to live for today, and you're not promised a future. So you're going to be out of balance. If you only live for today and don't invest and save for tomorrow, then you're going to have higher satisfaction, or maybe, higher enjoyment today and not sustainable for the long term. So it's got to be both. So Josh's challenge: invest while you're investing in the stock market, while you're investing for your financial future, invest in your most important relationships today. To me, I'm not sure how you would answer that. What are the most important relationships to you? For me, it would be my spouse, it would be my kids, and it would be my parents. And honestly, even if I don't know what your 3 are, I don't know what your top 2 are, it might, my guess is, be similar to mine. And if you look, you might be able to answer any one of those. Yeah, I'm doing a good job. I'm doing a good job. For me, I haven't always done a good job. Again, it's been easier for me to invest in the financial accounts than in the relationship accounts. And so what are some ways that you could balance that? Building in the budget, in the weekly budget, in the monthly budget, date nights, prioritizing, doing the things that you'd say, oh, I don't want to waste money on that. But if it's important to your spouse or actually creates some memories in the short term, creating some balance for that into your budget today. The one for me that was called out to me was we hadn't taken a family vacation in a couple of years. I'm afraid to say that. I know some of you might say, how is that possible? Well, it was, and I was called out on that, hey, maybe instead of saving so much for these things, should we take a family trip? And so that's another way to balance that. Again, saving for your future, but also having some memories for today. Experiences with your kids. My kids are 14, 12, and 7, and so making sure that they have some experiences, and that doesn't necessarily mean, spoiling them with gifts or whatever, but creating some one-on-one time or some bonding time that will be lasting memories for them. And then for me, with my parents, and again, I'm not sure your situation, but for me, I just see far too many clients that are at the point where they're taking care of their parents. And I wonder, it challenges me. Well, if that someday is me, will I ever have regrets that I wish I would have used the time with them differently? And maybe spent more quality time with them. So that's the big picture question. It's a bit of a question about how do you define financial success? For so many people, it's about balance between saving up for the future, but also enjoying today. And how do you do that? I would prioritize, I'd encourage you, I'd challenge you. Make sure that you're investing in the most important relationships in your life. Is that friends? Is it family? How would you define that? And make sure that you've got a plan, a strategy for that built out in your financial life. As always, work with your CFP. Need help budgeting to prioritize that today? Need help planning for the future to ensure that you're on track so that you've got that financial balance? Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.